3 years ago, I was labelled pre-diabetic. Last week, I published a video showcasing how I learned to do handstand push-ups. And in the 3 years since I decided to do calisthenics, and more scarily, film videos and put them on YouTube about it. Hanging leg raises, which will really focus on the core element of the L-sit. Core, get it? Because it's an ab exercise. I've had to overcome many challenges and learn a lot of things about myself along the way. And many of you seem to have the same question. So today we're going to go through what I did to supercharge my calisthenics gains and understand how anyone with a little bit of determination can do this as well. Let's get into it. How you doing, Cali Crowd? Welcome back to the channel that makes calisthenics simple. Just to get this out of the way, I do want to say that I don't think anything I've done has been meteoric. I've essentially gone from being overweight to barely being able to string together a few pull-ups to levers and muscle-ups. But I could argue that there are teenagers that could accomplish what I've done and more within a year or so. That being said, I'm not a teenager anymore, and I do have a 9-to-5 job to contend with, as well as making these YouTube videos, but progress can still be made. And the first step that I want to take you down in terms of getting to that progress is setting near-term goals. The goal that I initially set myself was to learn how to L-sit. I was in the throes of lowering my weight down from 91 kilos and thought this would be an easy one to tick off quickly. Damn was I wrong, and it was a lot harder than I thought it would be, but it was a lot easier than if I'd set myself the goal of doing 10 planche push-ups by next Thursday. And coupled with the health scare that I mentioned earlier, this goal and the YouTube channel was going to be my way of keeping myself accountable. It gave me a North Star to direct myself, and because I was tracking my efforts, supplied a huge rush of reinforcing dopamine whenever I saw movements towards that end goal. The next thing I did was learn as much as I could about what I wanted to achieve. I was in the calisthenics rabbit hole now, there was no way out for me, and in this situation it can be easy to get overwhelmed by the amount of information out there. While the fitness industry in general is full of half-truths and sales-fueled lies, anecdotally, I personally have found the calisthenics community to be extremely good at sharing valuable information, particularly to beginners. I'd still argue that the best teacher is doing, trying stuff and seeing what works for you, but having great sources of information doesn't hurt either. Which leads me on to the next key thing for supercharging progress, and it is building foundations. It was an accident that the first goal I set was the L-sit, arguably the foundational calisthenics skill. But in that time, I had been working on the basics, the fundamental moves that promote global strength. A worldwide pandemic, gyms being closed, and an unwillingness to do HIIT workouts in my living room meant that in 2020, the basics was kind of all I could do for the first year. And so I had accidentally stumbled on the best thing you could do as a calisthenics beginner: push-ups, rows, dips, pull-ups, and loads of them. This gave me the capacity to work to a higher level of calisthenics skill, the sort of skills that I didn't have the strength and, quite frankly, joint integrity to work on before. If you'd put 2019 me in even a tucked back lever, my shoulders would have divorced my arms. But 2022 me learned it in a month. The thing is though, working on the basics does become a little bit harder once you start to see progress with the intermediate skills, which is a nice segue onto the second point to ensure you keep seeing progress, which is setting fewer goals. I've spoken about this on this channel before, so I won't labor the point, but by setting fewer goals, we can focus our best energies on them while still making sure that we're getting stronger. This as opposed to diluting our progress, which leads us to make little progress over many things. The funny thing is though, many of the things we end up doing in bodyweight training tend to have many benefits that spill over into each other, even though we may not realize it at the time. For example, focusing on high quality pull-ups for my muscle up goal, as well as shoulder mobility for my handstand goal, gave me strong mobile shoulders to work my back lever. Did I know what would happen at the time? No, but it was the right thing to do and I was rewarded for it. All this culminates to the main thing, the thing that's been the wind at my back throughout my whole calisthenics journey, and arguably the thing that I think is most important for any athlete, and that is staying injury free. I've never had a prolonged injury from calisthenics, not one. And I test this largely to listening to my body. Cringe, right? But the fact of the matter is, we only get stronger at what we can recover from, and the best way to make no progress is to injure yourself. My default setting is that if given the option, I would train myself into the ground because I enjoy it and it feels like progress in that moment. So I personally need to set systems in place that force me to back off training. For example, every 8 to 10 weeks, I have a deload week where I literally do nothing except maybe some light stretching. This gives me a period every few months where I must lift my foot off regardless of what I think I'm capable of. More so than this, I never train through pain, nor do I put myself in compromising positions. Well, not ones that I can't deal with anyway. In fact, through eating better food and getting better sleep, one of the best things I've done throughout this whole 3-year period that might not actually come through on this YouTube channel is how much my recovery has actually improved. I still have loads of goals that I'm looking to achieve, and I'll use this channel to showcase what I'm doing to achieve them. But the crux of the matter is, nothing I have said here should be a revelation. The secret to fast success isn't so secret, and this whole channel is about what I do as I learn it and implement it myself. So if you found any of this useful, be sure to subscribe, stick around, and if you want to check out any of the other calisthenics skills I've learned, then check out this video right here.